Hi, Leo. Welcome to your reading for this is your winter 2024 reading. What I'm doing is instead of doing your full year in review, I'm going to break it down by season. So we're going to do January, February, and March. I think it'd just be easier to comprehend or remember. These are the type of readings you kind of want to put in your back pocket because something starts to happen. You're like, oh, I remember that in the reading. So, anyways, this is for January, February, and March. Leo, my beautiful Leo's sun, moon, or rising. You could certainly have planets in the sign of Leo. I definitely recommend checking out your moon and your rising if you're not a Leo, moon or rising. Because each one brings you something different. Like, your sun is really about what you show the world. The moon is about that inner you. Um, so, by watching all three, or at least your sun and moon, I feel like you can get a good grasp on what's ever coming next or whatever you need to know. As many of you know, I do read through my spirit guides. Um, my son is one of them, and he is a Leo, October 12th. October, August 12th. Sorry about that. Sorry, Steve. My mom, August 5th. She's also crossed over. Sam is right on that cusp of the 23rd of August. He's actually a Virgo, though he claims to be a Leo. Though he's not, but I just let him pretend he wants to be Leo. So be Leo. um, and I feel like I'm missing someone. But anyways, those are two of my very special guides, my son and my mother. And when I say my guides, they're all of our guides because I feel like my guides contact your guides. And I literally feel like you're all sitting in the room with me when we do a reading. That's how intimate I really feel these readings are, at least to me. So I hope I hope they feel that way to you also. All right. I want to just go over real quick what a universal year 8, because that's what we're moving into for 2024. Moving out of the year 7 into a year 8. So the more we can know, the more informed we are. I feel like the more things flow, or the easier things flow. So 8. I wrote down what it means to me. 8 is associated with wealth, power, influence, ambition, capability, and strength. 8, that is your number, Leo. So I have a feeling, I just have a feeling you're going to rock 2024. And by the way, before I go on, I did start your reading and I got the whole way to March and then I got interrupted. And I thought I paused your reading, but actually I stopped it. So I do have that, and I will upload that, and I'll put the link underneath this video if you want to watch that. And I believe I got January and February completely done, and I was starting on March. Bummer. For those who are like, why did Virgo come out before us? That's why. When I get interrupted or if I lose the video, I need to take a break from that, and that's why I did Virgo, but now I want to do you again. So you'll have almost double the info. So let's get back to an 8. This could be a time of really huge transformations, but you really want to embrace those transformations. Those transformations are there to help you. Think of the death card, closing doors so that new doors can open. 8s are about a new beginning, so we want those doors to open. This may be a time where there are rises and falls in your life, but when let's just say you had some type of fall, understand that in a universal year 8, there's usually a lesson within that fall. And if you can learn that lesson, it just helps you rise even higher. if that's the word. Um, this is also a year as you create that wealth, share that love. I put share the love, share the wealth. It's a fine art of give and take. You know, um, I feel like that really serves us, and I really feel like that's what we're here for, to help others in some capacity. Um, 8 is a number of infinity, new beginnings. Ultimately, this year is about capitalizing on the last 7 years. If you remember that we run in 9-year cycles, we're in the 8. Next year is that 9, and then we go into the 1. So we start a new cycle. So as we close the 8 person or the 8 universal year into the 9 universal year, that's why you want to look back. What have I learned? How have I grown? What interests had I had that maybe I didn't bring to the table, and maybe now is a good time? All of that, not about judging. It's about what type of growth have you had, especially through, the falls in life. This is a time when I feel like you don't really feel comfortable unless you can really stand on your own 2 feet. So I feel like that's a goal right there. Um, and when you're able to stand on your own 2 feet, it's a real sense of power, which I feel like, Leo, I feel like you need it in your life. The last thing I wrote, though, was get comfortable with success. Why? Because I feel like this is a year of success. 8 is about building your material world, your wealth, your creativity, all that. Doesn't mean there's no love. It just means that this is a year to think about you. And I love it just so happens to be an 8, and August is, I know that Leo actually starts what, on the 23rd of July? Because that is my grandson. Oh, that's who I forgot. That's my grandson's birthday. All right, I'm gonna stop talking and get into the reading. That feels like your cards. All right, we're gonna start with Mother Mary. And then the way I'm going to do this, Leo, is I'm going to break it down per month. So I'm going to use the Universal Tarot for January. I'm going to use the Psychic Tarot for February. And I'm going to use the Tarot Dreams for March. I did bring the clarifiers out. We'll use them if need be. If need be. But let's go ahead and open up this reading. Even though I feel like I opened the reading up the minute I hit start. All right. Action. Action time. That makes sense. Today, I take actions related to the priorities that I have previously put off. Um, that fits right in with the 8. And then we have interesting mother. Mother. I open my heart to my mother's humanness and her divinity. Mother. Interesting. I needed to do that. I needed to understand my own mother's actions or lack of, you know what I mean? All of that. And I do understand them now. And it's a good thing. It's a good thing. All right. Let's bring in the Universal Tarot. Let's bring the lid down and let's get into the Tarot portion. Everything pre-shuffled, and I shuffle them for quite a while because we are using the same decks. Um, and I'm using the same decks because I want to look for synchronicities also. I look for everything. Let's give them a cut. And we are going to read from the top of the deck. I don't do this very often, but I definitely felt called to do it um, for these readings. So let's go ahead and begin January. We have the Page of Swords. We have the Nine of Wands. We have the Ten of Cups. Nice. House of Harmony. It's interesting, the person in the Nine of Wands is looking back at that Ten of Cups. I often feel the person in the Nine of Wands, it's about spiritual power. It's about understanding one's own responsibility within one's own life and taking it on. You know what I mean? Like, I need to know my actions, what worked, what didn't work, where I could have done things different. And it's, again, it's not to judge you, it's just to know you, right? So you know yourself. The Page of Swords coming before that. I don't know, it could speak about someone's voice. I often feel the Page of Swords is learning how to use that sword. So I could talk about, learning how to cut things out of my life that no longer serve me. But I also feel like it's like the art of communication. Well, hello, Magician. We'll take the Magician. We have the Queen of Wands, probably you. Can be another Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries, but I feel like it's you. Two Pentacles. That tells me something is coming your way that puts a ball in your court. I do feel like because it's mirroring the Magician over here, this is something that you yourself wanted to manifest. And, when I see the Queen of Wands, the first thing I think of is action. So it's interesting that we have action from Mother Mary. I feel like some of you may have, like, been thinking about something for a little while, whether to do something, whether to not do something, to manifest something, whether not. And I feel like now is the time to make that final decision. We have the King of Swords. Can be a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. It's interesting we have the Page of Swords mirroring him. So this could certainly be someone's younger energy. I once was a page and now I am a king. We have Hierophant, Heart of Taurus. This is about your belief system. It's a five, so it wants you to question that. Are you living your beliefs like do you keep faith in your heart? When you're doing something, does it feel right? Like, like morally right? I don't know if that's the word, you know? I often see with this card here how these keys are here, and I often feel like this is like the keys to unlock the kingdom, your kingdom. And then we have another question. Seven of Cups. What do I do? What do I do? Seven of Cups is mirrored by the Ten of Cups. And let's see what's on the bottom of the deck. Eight of Wands. So, another eight. It's interesting. I keep saying that. This is the second reading where I said another eight, but there is no other eight. It just feels like that. But I like that we have an eight on the bottom of the deck because it is representing 2024. Eight of Wands, it's a couple different things to me. To me, it's what I think about, I bring about, especially with the Magician so close, like manifesting a dream, a wish, bringing it into your reality. It is going to take your action. And it's interesting because the Seven of Cups is the energy of like choosing a cup, but I'm uncertain about whether to choose a cup or not. Now, my uncertainty probably comes from choosing cups in the past, and maybe they didn't work out in my favor, so to speak. I definitely feel like the seven is also representing 2023. See, it's under the Eight of Wands. The Knight, or the Eight of Wands, is the Knight of Wands, another fast moving energy. The Knight of Wands is about passion. It's interesting, it's under the Eight of Wands, so it's almost like I feel it before I see it. So you're manifesting something that is of a passionate nature. But yet, in the same breath, I see a lot of questions around it. So I feel like maybe that's why the Hierophant is here. It's like go back to your belief system. If it feels right, then maybe it is right. If it feels wrong, then maybe it is wrong. Some of you may be hearing from someone from back in the day, back when I was a page, but now I'm a king. I also feel like this queen and king do share the same type of morals. I'm not going to say exactly, but I do feel like, they're pretty equal when it comes to that. So, January may find, first of all, we have the Ten of Cups, the House of Harmony. And I feel like this king may make an unexpected entrance or unexpected communication. So in other words, it's like I don't even expect this. Maybe someone else is trying to manifest you. Like I want Leo back in my life. All right, let's bring in the Gilded Tarot and we only have one five. And remember, fives stand for change. We have one eight, which stands for new beginnings. But I want to look a little bit more at this page as it relates to the king. But this page is facing the Nine of Cups, as is the person in the Nine of Wands. So they're both facing the Ten of Cups. We have the Queen of Pentacles. Can be a Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. She's holding a big old pentacle in her hand. We have the Devil. It did show in reverse. So we'll keep that in mind. Though, I did tell myself during these readings I wasn't going to read reversals, but we'll keep that all in mind. We have the Three of Swords. Okay. So I get this feeling that, someone may make a repeat appearance in your life. Now, that Three of Swords coming over the Ten of Cups, it just, there's a little crack, right? There's a little crack in that Ten of Cups. And it's interesting because I feel like if this is someone reaching out to you, I feel like one of the things they may say to you is, when I was young, I was dumb. When I was young, I walk towards temptations instead of away. Now, I feel like both of you, if you were together when you were both young, both of you may have had like, you know, it may have been a lot of party days, let's just say. But I feel like one got stuck in it a little bit more, if that makes sense. And what I mean by that is, I think back to my younger days and yeah, I partied, but some people never stop. Some people just never stopped. So I feel like someone had to have that realization. Listen, this Nine of Wands, I feel like is really for both people here. Like both people, because I feel like we must have had the Ten of Cups. And the Three Swords doesn't have to be an ending. It can certainly be an interruption. And the reason why I feel like someone may be coming back is because of the Seven of Cups and the Two of Pentacles above it. So it's like you questioning whether you want to invite this into your life again. Now, I do feel like this person has evolved. And first of all, it doesn't even have to be love, though we do have the Ten of Cups here. But I do feel like this king has evolved. Not only do I feel like the king has evolved, I feel like it's like someone has found their faith again. It could be someone who like, used to go to church as a kid and then stopped, for many, many, many years. And then, a lot of things went wrong in their life. And, sometimes we find our faith in the dark. And sometimes that's for some people, the only place that they seem to find it is when they get into that darkness, right? I'm seeking the light. So I do feel like someone probably had quite a fall. We could say a fall from grace, whatever you want to say. And is it all this person's fault of the breakup? Well, I just feel like, two people were doing the same thing. And then one is like, almost like, well, it's time we grow up a little bit. But I don't feel like the other one was quite ready. Does that make them right? Does that make them wrong? Is there a right or wrong? I don't know. It's just what it is, right? Strength card. Your major arcana. Beautiful. I always love it in a reading when your major arcana comes out. Oh, I hate how my screen keeps going dark. Um, Strength card talks about our own inner demons, and it's interesting because we do have the devil here also, and the devil can speak about temptations, as the strength card can also speak about temptations. But it's the overcoming, right? At least somebody wants to overcome. It's finding that inner balance, right? It's understanding that, listen, I have this dark side. We all do, but we all have that light side. I believe we all have that light side. Sometimes I question that, but let's just say the potential is there. We're masculine, we're feminine, we're polar opposites. But the strength card to me is about overcoming something. And when you do that, it really gives you a true sense of power. And I mean that in a very good way, like almost like if I can overcome this, then I think I can pretty much overcome anything. Well, I know that energy. Two eights together. We have justice, card of Libra, cutting your ties. It's interesting because this is really a year to think about your material wealth, your material growth. But I feel like January is opening up differently for you. Now I'm trying to remember like how January was for your first reading. I think you had the Eight of Pentacles in the beginning, but I'm not going to even try to think of it. I'll upload it and give you the link. But this certainly feels like, the cutting of ties with this king and queen. They cut ties. I feel like, they probably cut ties years ago. Justice is really about finding balance within one's life. It's about becoming whole again, after the fact, whole again after the strength card, whole again after the overcoming of temptations, what's fair and just in the world. And, I am reading this as I feel like the king and queen here did cut ties. I almost feel like I didn't really have any other choice in the matter. If I wanted to accomplish the things I wanted to accomplish in my life, right? Like maybe someone just drank a lot. And, after a while, it's like, okay, well, I want to begin my career, and I mean, I remember, like having hangovers and going to work, and I just thought to myself, I can't keep doing this, um, and expect to reach the top. So, anyways, I do feel like there was cutting of ties. Interesting. Now we have the Two of Wands over the Two of Pentacles. So I feel like this is you potentially saying, yes, I'll give this a shot. It's starting at the two, but it is with an optimistic view. Two of Pentacles really talks of, it's called the Juggler's card. Is this something that will fit into my life, will it enhance my life? But I really feel like it's about using the logical mind. And I can't help but see the magician over here. So I feel like if I'm the queen, part of me wants this king back in my life. And the Two of Wands is like, it's like a yes, but let's just start at the beginning. Let's take it step by step. It's almost like the queen wants to make sure that the king has truly evolved like he said he had, or she. With the Eight of Swords over this king. Then we have the Five of Cups over the Hierophant, which is also a five. And then, hello, Destiny. So, I don't know. Does that mean that these two people belong together? It seems that way. Does that mean it has to be that way? Absolutely not. I feel like our guides, because we have free will, and let's just say for whatever reason, because I do feel like I put this king, like I locked him away, threw away the key. At least that's what I told myself, right? That never again, never again. But yet there is this energy of missing. And they're sharing that Five of Cups, so I feel like they're missing each other. And it's coming over the Hierophant, so certainly could be a Taurus. But I feel like it's really about one's just finding their belief system again. And the Five of Cups talks about someone's focusing on what they have lost. And I feel like, it's interesting because I feel like this queen kind of like locked this king away. And I don't mean physically, but like mentally. It's, like protecting myself. Now we know why. What's mirroring it? The Three of Swords. Because I don't want this heartache again, right? But I do feel like you had the Ten of Cups here. And I do feel like, it's like a crack in the foundation. But do I feel like the foundation can be repaired? I do. I really do. But what I was going to tell you is even when the wheel shows, which speaks about our destiny, let's say that we say no. That's our right. Well, our guides will just recalculate. Okay, well, where does she want to go? Where does he want to go next? We'll just recalculate and, there's a plan for everything in the spiritual world. So I feel like two people, um, listen, they may not be coming together in the month of January, but some type of connection is happening in January. I feel like potentially communication. I do feel like someone is going to say like I've reflected over the past. Listen, I may have been in other relationships. You may have been in other relationships, but your heart has always been with mine. You've always like, if there was like a leaderboard, you're number one. Even though what's happened has happened. Again, this could be many, many years from a page to a king. I'm surprised we didn't see another page. Well, we do. Oh, we do have another page. Oh no, that's the same page. What am I thinking? Anyway, so I feel like someone's making a repeat appearance. Um, this love does feel destined, but I don't want you to put like a lot of worry in your heart that it means it has to be, because if something doesn't feel right to you, then go with that, right? Trust your own intuition over anyone else's. I cannot think of anything else. I just feel like, you know, it's happening. And what you do with it is up to you. But I do feel like you're saying yes, though I do feel like you're also saying yes, but let's take it slow. It's almost like I want to make sure. And maybe I'm not even telling that person like I'm taking it slow so I can make sure that you've overcome the things that you say you've overcome. It doesn't make this queen like perfect. None of us are perfect. But I feel like the queen knows what she wants, or at least the type of energy she wants. And listen, I feel like these two people know that I feel like we've created the Ten of Cups again. Why can't we create it? Or we've created the Ten of Cups before. Why can't we recreate it? Well, with the wheel, I feel like you can. And because the magician is here, I do feel like part of you really wants this. I feel like you're both missing each other. Though I do feel like, for a time period, you like locked him away. Or at least you thought. Because here they come. Ready or not, here I come. All right. Wow. January. What a month. Something I want you to keep in mind is time is fluid. And I'm saying that because, I'm saying January. Um, but things are just going to flow. All right. Let's go into February. What was your last card? I forget now. But anyway, let's go into February. Let's use the Psychic Tarot. Let's give it a cut. And let's begin. Temptation. That's the devil. Card of Capricorn. material and spiritual prosperity. It's the energy of victory. Look at this. There you are again. This is the sun. It's called the light in this deck. It's interesting because you have the light up against the dark. Sorry, Capricorn. For some of you, it's just a Capricorn. But you do have the light up against the dark. And, what's ever done in the dark will come to the light when the light shows. And here it is. And, listen, there may be some things that you've learned through the dark that now you've been able to bring them to the light, where now you yourself are speaking about them, helping others. Look at this person. They're like looking out at the world, like the world is my oyster. It's just not material prosperity, it's also spiritual prosperity. Walking hand in hand. I feel like there's nothing more powerful than that. The sun is like a brand new day. The sun, I feel like, is like our inner child energy, like come out and play. Hello, Ace of Pentacles. Prosperity begins. Well, lovers. Called harmony in this deck. Heart of Gemini. The meaning of the card is the head over heart decision. Interesting, 2 6s back to back. And I have to be honest, I feel like we've already dealt, like, I feel like the love part of it, we already sort of know what's going on here. So I feel like now we're moving into the next, first of all, I feel like whoever you're connecting with in January, they may be more than, let's just say, love. It may be, it could be a partnership. I mean, harmony, like working together in perfect harmony. And then the Ace of Pentacles right before them. So I feel like we're moving forward now, like almost like yes. I say yes to January. Now we move into February, and it's like we combine our knowledge. Like they're doing it together. Accelerated motion. Right under the sun. Another 8. I keep saying another 8 because I want you to understand that, you know, again, time is fluid, but the importance of the universal 8 and what it means for you, and it feels like you're fulfilling it. I love accelerated motion under the sun. So things moving very quickly. And I feel like if it has to do with your material world, it means like you're seeing the fruits of your labor very quickly. Here you are, like potentially beginning it or taking your platform, and then here's the money. Spiritual union. Some of you are, I get this feeling of moving in together. Maybe getting married, but I feel like moving in together. I definitely feel the connection now. I feel like January was all about getting you ready, getting your heart ready, and February is about what you're going to do now. What you're going to do now. It's a spiritual union. And I don't say this very often, but I do feel like two people potentially are moving in together. With that, victory and success. Three sixes in a row. Interesting with the devil's energy right there, right? And then the five of cups. Five of cups is mirroring the light. Five of cups is also mirroring the soulmates. It's like I have no doubt that whoever you are, let's just say, I feel moving in together. But it could just be like making a commitment to each other. But I feel like it's going even further than that. I definitely feel February, you know, and I hate to put like a time period to it, but I feel like it's just it's a natural energy. It's like naturally moving forward, and it feels good. I mean, victory and success, material and spiritual prosperity. Prosperity begins, accelerated motion, the light. Everything is quite beautiful. Some of you, I feel like you must be connected to a Capricorn because we keep seeing the Capricorn. But I also feel like some of you, again, like a platform, it's like, I've been in the dark and I've been in the light, and now I'm helping others to reach for the light. All right, let's see what's on the bottom of the deck. Beautiful. Hope. It's called in this deck. This is a star. This is about your hopes, your dreams, your wishes, and manifesting them. So, February seems somewhat of a dream. It just does. It feels like a beautiful dream happening. It's funny because I feel like sometimes we say to ourselves like, I could never have that, or I could never have this, or I couldn't create that. And we got to stop talking to ourselves like that. We got to start saying like, I can have great love. I don't know how yet. I don't know from who, but I'm not going to put restrictions upon it. You're right. I can be successful. I'm not sure with what. Ask your guides. Send me some inspiration. Which direction should I go? How can I have this material and spiritual prosperity? With spiritual prosperity, it means that you are using your spirituality in your material world. And I feel like that's good. That's powerful. Rest and rejuvenation under the star. I could speak about, like a dream. I feel February just feels like a dream. But maybe it had to wait till February. Maybe everything, the universe wasn't ready, or, who's ever on the other side. I feel like they're ready. I feel like they're ready. All right, let's bring in the Gilded Tarot. And I'm going to give him a couple shuffles. That Ten of Cups again. All right. We have the Lovers right in the middle of this spread. But these lovers have victorious energy all around them. Hangman over temptation. Three swords over material and spiritual prosperity. And then the Seven of Wands over the sun, or light, as it's called in here. Now, Okay, let's look at this because the Three of Swords, this is old energy. I do not feel it's in this month's energy. I feel like it's already been dealt with. Um, and I feel like, why is it there then? Well, I feel like it's there because some of you are helping others. Again, it's like taking what you know, what you've learned, and adding it to your resume, so to speak. Remember how I said in the very beginning that Universal Year 8 was about standing our ground, being firmly on the ground? Well, that's what the Seven of Wands is. Some of you, I feel like you've taken up the position of helping to defend other people. And it's interesting. I feel like there's even someone here that I feel like in some way you help people find people like lost people who are lost. Now I don't mean like I don't mean that in like a criminal way. I mean like I may start a business where well, it could be like a dating site. But I really feel like I'm helping people to find like lost family members. I don't know. Now I know that's probably one or two of you, maybe more. All right, we have the Eight of Cups. Interesting. Justice again, right where it was for January. And the devil again. What is going on with the devil? This is like what, the third or fourth time we've seen him. Capricorn feels very strong in your reading. Some of you are definitely connected to Capricorn. Libra, this is the second time we have seen Libra in the exact same position. Interesting because it's coming over the lovers, um, justices, right of the lovers. Now, it can certainly mean like, Libra, but I feel like this is about, I feel like justice is here because two people have found true balance. The only thing I want to say on a somber note, I guess, is, if there's something you've kicked, just stay aware, right? Stay aware. Um, just stay aware. Jeez. Seven of Pentacles, the High Priestess, your intuition. And let's see if we can get one more out. The Chariot. You know, emotional loss down here. Again, it's the Five of Cups, but it's mirrored by the Sun. And what do I always tell you within the Five of Cups? Five speaks of change first and foremost. So the change is looking for in the Five of Cups is where one's focus is at. Focus is on what I have lost. So it asks you not to focus on what you have lost. Instead, focus on what is yet to be had. So when this person does that, they turn around and there are two cups. Well, look what the Five of Cups is being mirrored by, those two cups. So the Chariot now comes over this. And I feel like what this is saying is like, any pain or heartache or, loss or wondering, all that, I feel like it's all leaving. I feel like it's all going away. And I feel like this may be one of the best years of your life, or Another way of putting it, this is going to be one of those years where you're going to look back and you're going to remember certain things that happened. And I feel like in a very good way. Um, I definitely feel like, who's ever in love in this reading, I feel it very, very strong. And I feel listen, it's going to take two people, right? It's two people's actions. Two people need to put the same amount in it. Um, but I do feel all that. I feel all of that. And it's interesting because the chariot would take us out of 2023. So I feel like this is saying to you 2024 has some of these dreams actually coming into your reality. Like they're not just a dream anymore. They are now your reality. Seven of Pentacles over this Two of Cups. Seven of Pentacles, first of all, it teaches you the energy of patience. And it's so that, well, coming over the Two of Cups, it's so that these two people could come to, how do I say this, individually come to their best selves. Now, again, it's not perfection because we'll never reach that. So don't even try. Just be the best you can be. But I also feel in the Seven of Pentacles that this is about these soulmates made a plan before they came into this lifetime to reconnect at this time. So I feel like you're following through with the soul's plan. Again, if it doesn't happen, is my whole world messed up then? No. Again, the universe will recalculate, figure it out. You know what I mean? Like you'll be guided elsewhere. So you get to make that final decision. But it doesn't mean, I don't think you can stop what wants to come in from coming in. You just have to then yay or nay. So these soulmates, I mean, hello, they're on the tree of life. Not just that, it's what they can do together. It's the energy they can create. It's the wealth that they create. I mean, prosperity, right? And here it's beginning, but you have victory all over this place. You have fast moving energy. It's like whatever you do in the light, you'll see the rewards very quickly. And I guess it would happen. That would be the same whatever you do in the dark. You'll see the consequences very quickly. But the Chariot, to me, as the last card for February, it's a great card. Because first of all, we are mirroring the soulmates and the Seven of Pentacles. So the Chariot is the masculine and the feminine, or you could even say divine masculine and the divine feminine. It is the light. It is the dark. With the Chariot, what we learn is it is our intentions that tell this chariot where to go, not the reins of the horses. Our intentions. And right above it is a card of intention. The chariot speaks about unlimited potential for these lovers, but not just for love, in prosperity, in your money. I just want to take one card up here. King of Cups. King Cups can be a Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. We do have Cancer right here. Um, I feel like this King Cups is it's just another sign for some people of like what's coming together, like because there's different people for different, different signs, but When I see the King of Cups, I do feel like this is someone who, you know, when they're when they're at their best, they're great in love. This is someone who values relationships. Now, I feel like a lot of times the King of Cups, as a page, maybe not so much. That's something they were learning, right? How to deal with emotions. That's one of their lessons in this lifetime. Okay. Did I look under the star? Yeah, rest and rejuvenation. So I feel like two people are creating something for themselves. Um, it's interesting. I get this feeling we're going to end up back in that Ten of Cups. We'll see. All right, let's keep going. My son left this world in February. Not to put a sad note on it. Um, just, I don't know, all of a sudden I thought of that. All right, let's bring in the Tarot of Dreams. And we're moving into March. Queen of Swords. So we saw that King of Swords. Eight of Wands. Again, when I think about it, bring about fast moving energy. I often see these wands as my intentions going out into the universe, and it's going to meet me back with my own vibration. Well, hello, Palace of Pentacles. Perfect energy for universal year 8. This is, if you think of like the 10 of Pentacles, that is the house of abundance, right? Now, this is the palace. And maybe because I do feel, for not for everyone, but for a few of you, I do feel like you may be working with the same person you love and who loves you. We have the Hermit, part of Virgo, under the Queen, stars back again, stars under the Eight of Wands. Now, when I think about it, bring about, you know, you don't have to have just one dream. I feel like one of your dreams may have been, you wanted the right partner. And I do feel like that's what you're finding, potentially in January, coming together in February. But now, I feel like, and then there's more dreams. The Fool. Hello, Four of Wands. There's a marriage card. It's almost like we're having a spring wedding. This is a commitment. To me, it's hard to see it in with this image. But this is to me the best love card in the tarot because it is about true commitment to each other. It's wanting to make a life together. Not just wanting to make a life, but making a life together. We have justice. So justice has come out in all three of the spreads. And then we have the Four of Pentacles. I'm going to slide this up. And then we have the Nine of Wands on the bottom of the deck. King of Wands underneath that. That could be you. All right, let's look at this. So we have this Queen of Swords who's marrying this Palace of Pentacles. Listen, I feel like our voice is always being called. I feel like our guides would like to see all of us do something where we take our own experiences, how did we get through something, and we help others in that way. In some way helping others. You know, I do feel like it's interesting because I feel like it is through your own truth, your own experiences, your eyes being wide open, that ultimately you do end up in this Palace of Pentacles. Someone asked me, what does the palace mean? And I didn't read it, I never read the book. But to me, it is, it's an energy that I'm really shooting for. I feel like there's no way that, like we had that Ten of Cups early, right, in January, and then the Three Swords came over. Something came over it. I think it was the Three Swords. Um, but I feel like, I didn't feel it like, yes, it was pain. But I didn't feel it like it had to be the end. So I feel like the Palace Pentacles would make sense, especially for a Universal Year 8. Listen, Leo, I feel like this is a year where not only do I feel like you're making a commitment with someone, again, whether you're just moving in together or you're, saying I do, or, becoming engaged, doesn't have to mean like we're getting married, but we're probably someone's asking at this point. And I feel like both people are living in that palace because this is the foundation. You know what I like about the Four of Pentacles mirroring the Palace of Pentacles? It's because it's about your foundation. And then we have another four over here. So the Four of Pentacles mirrored by the Four of Wands. This commitment. Well, again, it's about the foundation. If our foundation is strong, then we can withstand a lot. The Fool comes between the Palace and the Four of Pentacles. So, fresh, clear energy. Um, this again can be like new avenues that you're adding in. The stars right in the middle of this spread. Your hopes, your dreams, your wishes is the card of Aquarius, by the way. But it's interesting because what's mirroring the Fool? It's the Hermit. And the Hermit's a nine. So nines to me are about final reflection. It's taking all that wisdom that I've gained through that hermit energy. And I feel like, listen, I feel like the hermit's not a one time energy. None of this is a one time energy. I feel like every cycle we go through, we become the Fool again, right? The nine is about the final reflection so that that part of my life or that chapter closes, and then the Fool is the next chapter. Now, sitting right by the star, I mean, I don't know how that could be bad. Interesting because we had the King of Swords, who started as the Page of Swords, turned into the King of Swords, and the Queen of Wands were connecting. Now, I feel you are the Queen of Swords, even though, again, you're fire, because I feel like it's just bringing the Queen and the King together. Now, if you're in a same-sex relationship or something like that, then just, I'm saying king and queen because that's what I'm seeing. Okay. Six of Swords. Hello, Will. Again. And the Two of Wands. Interesting. So, this Queen of Swords, if you look at her, she does have a mask on, but her eyes are wide open, right? there's nothing covering her eyes. And there's nothing it needs to cover her eyes because we saw the sun the month before. So we don't need to fear, right? Like this is about like the truth is the truth is the truth. So the Six of Swords coming over her just means that she understood what had been toxic in her life and she eliminated it. um, she moved away from it. You know what I mean? And the toxicity can be a million different things. We saw the devil a lot, so it can be certain types of temptation. But I also feel like, it could also talk about one's voice, one's communication, and having to learn how to, I want to say speak correctly, but I don't think that's the right word. So what I'm feeling, honestly, I don't know why I'm saying honestly. What I'm feeling is this queen is coming to the table free and clear. So she is taking on the fool's energy. And again, I do feel like you are this queen. Because again, we're not, I'm not thinking about the signs. So she's mirroring the Palace of Pentacles, but the Two of Wands is coming over it. So I do feel like, for many of us or you, it is starting at the beginning. But again, it's very inspired. It's very fast moving. I feel like not only is the love fast moving, I feel the growth within the material world is fast moving. You know, I feel like also like dreams are coming true for you, Leo. And maybe it's been a while. Maybe it's been a while. But listen, I feel like first and foremost, it, it was about your own foundation and understanding the stronger your foundation. If no one can knock you off of it when you're standing upon a strong foundation. Sometimes we want, like, let's say, like, I want love, but I'm in watery type energy. It's like, I used this analysis yesterday. It's like building a house on sand, um, and eventually it's going to sink. So I don't want to do that. Build it by the sand. All right. Well, look at that. Maybe I should take it. All right. With the Two of Pentacles, Six of Cups right over the star. The Nine of Swords, why? Seven of Wands, Strength card again. These are a lot of cards, so I'm taking them pretty quickly. Page of Swords, Devil again, the Hangman, the Three of Swords, and the Lovers. Okay, that's a lot, but we're going to take them. All right, so first of all, Six of Cups coming right over the Star card. Happy memories, treasured memories. Um, and you're right below it again. So it's connecting you directly to your wishes. I don't love that the Nine of Swords came out, and I'm not even really sure why it came out. It's coming over the full. The Nine of Swords talks about unnecessary worry, but it is worry, and the worry is over a decision. Now, what are you worried about here? Because I feel like the relationship is well on its way. I feel like the path that you choose to take or add into your already existing plan, let's say business plan, some of you may have your own business and maybe you're adding in different avenues or whatever you're doing in the world, it feels like, new things coming to you, new inspiration that comes to you. Do you follow it? Do you not? I feel like this is saying some of you, it's almost like, you take a stage and your voice is required, and it's almost like I have stage fright. I have a little bit of stage fright. I feel like this is also saying that this relationship, though I feel it feels very sturdy, like I feel it feels very true. But I do feel like, even though I feel like it's moving quickly, because I feel like you move in together very quickly. And then I feel like eventually the will you marry me energy comes out. And I don't know, I get this feeling like maybe one doesn't want to get married. Now, that doesn't mean anything about the love because the love is strong. It's not that. That wouldn't be the reason. But I feel like there is a reason why we need to take it a little slower. And I'm not talking about the relationship. I'm just talking about maybe making it legal. Maybe someone still has to deal with something of the past, and it's better to deal with it first so that you truly can have, fresh starts here. Nine of Swords, it's unnecessary worry. Page of Wands right over that. Taking a chance. I don't think the Nine of Swords stops you. I just feel like it's there. Again, I feel like this energy of like getting stage fright right before I go on stage. Like it doesn't seem like something that sticks, like that's just with me. Like I don't live in that Nine of Swords. I feel like it comes out at a certain period of time, but I feel like I have to move through it as a Page of Wands and then Mother Mary action, right? I need to move through it. Even if I'm a little fearful, because I feel like it ultimately turns out in your favor. So it does feel like a little bit of stage fright. Someone may have to speak in front of a group of people, and it's like, oh, but do it anyway. Do it anyway. Because I feel like whatever you're doing here, it's almost like your life is going to look different. If we look at 2023 and before, I feel like 2024 and going forth, I feel like your life just looks different. I'm going to come down here and just take a card, the Knight of Cups. So I wanted to look at that Three of Swords, but the Knight of Cups is over it. So it's love. I just want to take one more, follow that, and there's that Queen again, Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles is great for feeling energy before it arrives. I also feel like this is talking about a love of what you do. And again, if this is something new that you're creating, I feel like you're going to love it. Doesn't mean it's not going to take hard work, especially to reach the Palace of Pentacles. Do I feel wealth? I do. I do. I definitely feel the wealth. And again, what's mirroring it? The lovers. So I don't feel you're alone. I don't feel you're alone. I don't know why I'm even bringing that up. I just don't. I feel like you're already together at this point. Um, but I feel like you're living together. And then I feel like this is a point where, we may make a decision or unexpectedly, you know, maybe the king says, "Will you marry me?" type of energy. Um, and listen, that can definitely raise up that fear, even though you're in love. But I feel like this is where you're going to see some major changes. I feel like every month is bringing you some major changes, but they all seem good, right? Prosperity, material prosperity, spiritual prosperity, the Ace of Pentacles, prosperity begins, the star over and over again, the full taking leaps of faith, the Palace of Pentacles with the Two of Wands over it. I don't know, Leo. I feel like this is going to be a great year for you. And I know I've been saying that to a lot of people, but I do feel that. And I feel like your life is going to look so different by the end of 2024. But I feel like that's going to be many of us. And it's exactly what I feel like is meant to happen. All right. I think I'm going to leave it there. I would, recommend researching the universal year 8 for yourself. You know what I mean? Know as much as you can. Know what your personal year number is going to be. And how you calculate that is you take the day you were born with the month you were born and add it to the universal year 8. That's it. The day you were born, the month you were born, plus 8. And then bring it down to a single digit unless it's a master number. I hope that makes sense. Like I'm gonna have a universal year 3. Or I'm sorry, a personal year 3 within universal year 8. Some of you are going to have a personal year 8. Some of you have a life path year 8. And if that's the case, man, this may be a year where you master like you can't even believe. Sometimes we can't believe that these things can happen until they do. All right, let's read Mother Mary. Let's read action. Action. Mother Mary sends you this gentle reminder that sometimes you must take human action in order for your prayers to be answered. Such is the case with your current situation, where you may have disregarded or procrastinated working on a priority. Mother Mary is compassionate and understands that you've got multiple responsibilities demanding your time and attention. Even so, this is a case where things will stay at a standstill until you take steps in your desired direction. To clarify which action steps to take, sit quietly and interview your heart with these questions. What is most important to me? How much time do I devote to these priorities daily? What can I do right now to support them? Notice the thoughts and feelings that arise, because these are part of the answers to your prayers. Then ask Mother Mary and the angels to boost your motivation and confidence to take these action steps. And I feel like that's what that Nine of Swords is talking about. It's just to boost your motivation to take that action. And I feel like once you take it, it's like the world is yours. All right. I'm going to let that be, guys. Um, I thank you. I love you. I will upload your other reading, just so you can have both, different perspectives, because it may be for different people. And I will connect it to this, to the bottom here. Oh, I do want to let you know, I should have said this in the beginning. The holiday special I was having, buy one get one reading, which is a special I do just a couple, like every couple years, because it's a big one, right? Buy one, get one. And you can give, and the reason why I'm doing it at the holiday time is because you can give one as a gift, which I feel like would just be an awesome gift. And you can handle it any way you want. They can send me their personal questions, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's probably the best way. Let them ask their questions. Or you can keep the second one. And if you choose to do that, the only stipulation is that you wait 4 months after the first one. There is no expiration date, and you don't have to worry that I will lose, that you have a free one coming. I'm very good at keeping my books. I am a Virgo after all. Um, so, anyways, I'm extending that only for a couple more days, though, um, because I don't want you to have to wait too long to get your first reading. So, anyways, just want to let you know that. Um, but I want to thank you for just being part of my channel, for subscribing, and for those of you who've been with me, and welcome anyone who's new. I hope this has helped. I hope this helps all of you in some way. I feel like there's a lot happening for you in January, February, and March, but it all feels good. And by the way, the reason why I'm doing these a little early is because I feel like it'll give us a jump start on 2024. So if there's things that maybe are still hanging around that just aren't going to benefit you to bring them into this new cycle, well, you still have time to think about that. Anyway, I thank you for your donations. It is what keeps me on YouTube. It's the only thing that keeps me on YouTube. So thank you for that. Um, Thank you for sharing the videos. Just thank you for just being you. And thank you for allowing me to be me. I love you. Happy holidays, by the way. I will see you next time at our table. Oh, by the way, make sure you have the bell. Like if you're subscribed, make sure you have that bell rung so you get 100% of the notifications. You can just swipe them away if you don't want one. But I'm saying that so you'll know when your spring edition comes out, because I'll have it done way before spring. So anyway, and also when I go live, randomly, if I go live and, you just want to join in and ask some questions, the only way you really know that is if you have your notifications on. So that's why. All right, guys, I love you. I'll see you next time at our table. Bye bye.